You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the January 2025 regular council meeting for the Municipal District of St. Stephen. I'm Florence Mitchell. In today's meeting, under Bylaws, Council will move to give Bylaw 03-23-1, an amendment to Bylaw 03-23 respecting remuneration of council, its second reading. Under New Business, Council will move to appoint Linda Duplessis to the St. Croix Public Library Board for a 3-year term. Further to concerns raised in the January Committee of the Whole meeting over evidence of potential pollution of the St. Croix River, Council will move to request that the Minister of Environment and Climate Change initiate an investigation into the environmental condition of the river, and that the results be publicly presented to Council. Council will also move to contract the Canadian Centre for Safer Communities to conduct a community safety survey. Finally, Council will discuss grant program recommendations. Now let's join Council in the Moosehead Room at the Garcelon Civic Centre in St. Stephen.
Thank you, Council. All right. Welcome to the Municipal District of St. Stephen Council Agenda, Wednesday, January 29, 2025 at 6 p.m. Call to order. Before we begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered today on the ancestral unceded territory of the Passamaquoddy people. I have a mover and seconder that the agenda for the regular council meeting of January 29, 2025 be approved with the removal of item E1D, council grant program and recommendations.
So moved.
Councilor Harding,
Second.
Councilor Eastman. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Any disclosures of conflict of interest this evening? Seeing none. Okay, I'll take another mover and seconder that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on December 18th, 2024 be approved as presented.
So moved.
Deputy Mayor Wheaton, Councillor Heislip. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, I'll take a mover and seconder for the Chief Administrative Officer be acknowledged, the report of the Chief Administrative Officer be acknowledged and received.
So moved.
Councilor Heislip?
Second.
Councilor Eastman? And you have anything you want to add on your report, sir?
Thank you, Your Worship. For the majority of the report is there. Just a couple of things. Mr. Morton and Mr. Sumner send their regrets for this evening. Mr. Morton was tied up with NB Fire Association today, and Mr. Sumner is on some scheduled leave until next week. So they do pass along their regrets, and I will try to hold the fort for them in the meantime. Two things to add to the written report that I neglected to include. Mr. Godso did include a bit of it in his report. One of the big projects that the joint forces of the CAO's office and corporate services have been working on right now is we're completely overhauling the manner in which we do our chart of accounts. As we started working with the Questica program and getting up and running, we discovered that our chart of accounts lacked a certain logic to the way that they're constructed, which was creating an issue with the new program. Rather than fight with and try to make the new program fit our system, it was actually deemed to be more efficient to just change how we choose to number our accounts going forward. Made a lot of progress in the last 10 days or so on that project. We're meeting with the Questica folks, which is the budgeting software, tomorrow morning to go over our plan of attack on how we're going to do it, make sure it fits with their model, which I'm confident it will. But it's been an eye-opening revelation, I think, for all of us that work in this about how much better we could have been doing now that we've taken the chance to reevaluate it. And we're really looking forward to installing the new logic module into the way that we are doing our account setup. So there's that. And council will have seen some draft documents on the human resources information and payroll system. That's a document that, again, corporate services and CO's office have been working together on to help us manage the fact that we elected not to replace the HR coordinator at this time, and so we're trying to alleviate some of the manual paperwork burdens and a lot of the recommendations that were in the M&P report that you saw in the departmental review. So we're looking at we're putting out a request for proposals to see what's out there as far as how we can digitize and become more efficient in these really important areas of our operation. And so we're, like I said, council's seen some draft, and thank you for those of you that have sent me comments and found typos and misreferences along the way. It's a 59-page document I think I sent you guys, and it's a lot to go through, so we do miss things once in a while. But we're hoping to be able to release that in the very near future to start getting some proposals coming in and seeing what's out there to help us take the next step in that department. With that, the rest of the written report is there. If there's any questions from council, I'm happy to take them.
Okay. So you've heard the report. I've asked for questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Report accepted. Okay. Okay, next up is public comment period.
Hi, Barb Tucker from Ward 3. I'm going to have to read from this. I'm a little bit nervous, so I apologize. I don't know if I'm cold or just shaken, but I'm nervous. But anyway, or both. My comments this evening are regarding a recent appointment of the CAO to acting treasurer. This appointment concerns me, and as also some other individuals have voiced the same concerns, so I was asked to come speak this evening on behalf of them and myself. Each role has distinct responsibilities. The CAO oversees the overall operations and strategy, while the treasurer focuses specifically on managing finances. So combining them could lead to potential conflicts of interest and a lack of dedicated attention to either of those areas. The other concern would be focus on and expertise. The CAO needs a broader understanding of all aspects of the organization, which I believe he does, while a treasurer requires deep financial expertise, making it difficult to excel in both simultaneously. The town of St. Stephen hired an assistant treasurer in September of 2017. That's approximately 7 years ago. And I believe the council's decision at that time, that I recall, was to hire not only to assist the treasurer, but also as a part of a broader succession plan. And I know I'm not privileged to all the information around the recent appointment of the CAO, but I just wonder what happened to that succession plan. Checks and balances. Having separate roles allows for better oversight and accountability, with the treasurer independently verifying financial decisions made by the CAO. Workload. It has been noted by mayor and council that the responsibilities and work being done by the CAO is often extensive. And by adding these complex duties of a treasurer, this could potentially lead to a burnout. The final concern I have, and the last thing I'll say this evening, is according to the Assistant Treasurer's report on page 63, the 2023 audit is still outstanding. MNP Professional Accountants, an outside accounting firm, has been contracted to assist with finalizing the 2023 audit. I could not find a resolution or a tender for these services. I'm not even sure if they're required. It's possible that there was. What is the potential cost of this support? This is the same firm that completed the financial services review report in October 2024, and at an estimated price of approximately $78,750 plus disbursements. The mayor's report on September the 26th read, attended presentation of the financial system and process review by NNP report. Does this imply that the report was not formally presented to mayor and council, and thereby not allowing council the opportunity to discuss the contents of the report directly with MNP. Page 62 of the Assistant Treasurer's report states that the accounts receivable and accounts payable are closed for November. Based on this, do you anticipate a delay in meeting the province of New Brunswick's March 1st deadline for the submitting the 2024 audit? If so, are there plans once again to acquire the services of MMP for assistance? I want to also make note, I don't have this actually in my notes, but I found this out later today, that when I was reviewing the, I guess, last month's council minutes, that Jeff presented the budget for 2025 and was accepted by council. And I want to thank him and staff and council and mayor for that being done in December, because there are a lot of municipalities across the country that I've learned don't always get it in time. So that would probably require, and I also recall many years ago being part of the budget for the municipality when I worked for the town of St. Stephen, and it's a lot of work. So thank you for that work. And thank you again, Mayor and Council, for listening to these concerns. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just 1 second. I'm going to make a few comments on some of that stuff, even though I'm not reacting to the question. I know it's a comment period, but I want to emphasize we had our treasurer retired in the midst of all this, trying to get the budget done, and we have to have a treasurer by law, so we had to approve an acting. That's the acting treasurer until we get things straightened out in the near future, so that we can get that stuff done. That's why we did that. Oh yeah, and we did have a MNP. I always get those letters. Anyway, a presentation that was public too. But, yeah. Oh, Sandra.
Sandra Best from Ward 3. I'm going to read my notes too, just to make sure I stay within limits. So my comments pertain to the municipal district's finances, as mentioned in the reports provided by the Assistant Treasurer and the CAO. So as far as I can tell, taxpayers are going to have to pay more than $300,000 for council and administration's efforts to sort out this town's financial situation. And that's not including the cost for employee salaries and wages and contract overruns due to delays. To break it down a bit, again, from what I can tell, we're going to be paying $180,000 in total for M&P for the financial services review, and what was supposed to be assisting with the 2024 financial reporting and is extended to include 2023 as well. There's $18,000 for Teed Saunders Doyle, who are waiting in the wings to perform the 2023 audit, yet even after paying more than $60,000 for M&P's assistance, the books are still not ready for Teed to get started. $25,000 allocated for a firm to perform the 2024 audit, but based on 2023, I feel like this might not be enough. $40,000 for Questica, the new budget software, and now plans to purchase an HR info and payroll system, which I feel like probably cost another $40,000. I'm concerned about the amount of money and human resources being thrown at this situation, so that audited statements and annual reports can be completed, both of which are legislative requirements and impact our ability to obtain funding and attract potential investors to St. Stephen. I'm also concerned about the day-to-day financial operations and how they're being impacted, and whether commitments are being honored to put safeguards in place to ensure that this doesn't happen again. And by that, I mean getting behind. I understand what you said about, the treasurer and all of that, but that doesn't alleviate my concerns about the delay, about the fact that we're struggling to meet deadlines, and about all the other implications. So regarding the 2025 budget, I'm glad to hear that it was filed on time, and I know that there was a lot of work. I saw it, you all here, and it was discussed on December the 18th when you actually passed the budget. And while I'm glad that the tax rate was decreased this year, I feel compelled to stress that it's incorrect and misleading for council and administration to position the outcome as a 4% decrease for both urban and rural areas, when in fact, Western Charlotte and Dufferin had only a 2% decrease, still a decrease, but it's not 4% across the board. And to point out that 2% decrease for those areas equals only 1 cent for every $100 of assessed value. So 4% sounds great, but when you look at it in dollars and cents, it's not a lot of money. I can't help but wonder how much more the tax rate could have been decreased if there was less wasteful spending, or things that I consider to be wasteful spending, such as $3,000 or is it $30,000? We don't know how much it is for the colored crosswalks, to install them, to maintain them, and that sort of thing. $89,000 for a marked vehicle for a service that provides zero revenue, and $300,000 on a financial and reporting system that seems almost impossible to fix, to name a few. If the tax rates had been even 1 cent lower, taxpayers with a property that valued at $150,000 would have $15 more in their pocket this year. $15 might not seem like a lot, but for some, and especially the way things are going today, that's money that could be the difference between getting a ride to a medical appointment or paying their electricity bill or buying some food. The property tax rate and the amount of property tax we pay corresponds directly to the amount of money that this council decides to spend. Spending is necessary. I recognize that. I'm happy to see that there's going to be spending on roads because it was very much needed, and some of the other things that were on the capital plan. But that spending must be on the right things. Every single cent makes a difference. The financial situation for taxpayers in the municipal district is not sustainable, in my opinion. And I think spending needs to be cut, or it needs to be completely justified. And well, we all know that the local economy needs to improve. Thank you very much for listening to me. I do appreciate you still allowing us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to make a clear comment on behalf of council. If they don't agree, you can speak up. We worked very hard at that budget to keep the tax rate where it is. I don't hear anyone saying anything about us holding the tax rate, even without the support of staff over the last 10 years prior to that, never moved the tax rate, without increases in assessments for years, until the last 2 years just before amalgamation. We do take it very seriously. The cost of it, just like the costs that are all affecting us, the costs go up in this business as well. We don't take spending money lightly here. That's not the case. I'd love to lower the tax rate, but that's very challenging with assessments aren't even across the board. Like some don't go up, and like 20% do, and that makes it very challenging to control that tax rate. And to compare to other municipalities that just raised their tax rate the previous year 19 cents and then go down 2, and we didn't. You know, we were stern last year and we were stern again this year. So, you know, I think we take it serious and we do the best we can with what we got. We need more money. And, you know, we all know that. But we're a small community and we do the best with what we have and what we can work with. But believe me, we'd love to pave every street in this town and pay our employees. And hence the comments about staff and lack thereof and sharing responsibilities. That's all cost cutting right now. We're trying to work through it and set up the staff in a way that we will work better for us as a community as well. And we got to take the opportunity with the few that have left. And it's also very challenging finding replacements these days too. So anyways, I mean, we're doing our best here. And that's all I ask, that we just get some support from the community that we're doing our best. Yeah. We could have held it, but we did. Yeah, exactly. Because believe me, I was actually pushing to do more, because I get constant complaints, and I'm just so tired of the complaints. I just, let's go spend some money, folks. But I need development. we need development, and I don't want to discourage that either. So I mean, hats off to the staff, actually, that worked hard to get that budget to where it was, and we should be happy as we can be over it, because I see a lot worse. And as alluded to, I mean, some people don't even know what their tax rate is to this day. You know, as Bart mentioned, you know, they don't even have their tax rate set yet. So, I mean, we're doing our best with what the tools we have in our toolbox here. So, anyway, thank you. And I hope I didn't make anyone mad around the table. Thank you. All right. I need a mover second to move into the departmental information reports. Councillor Harding? Second. Councillor Heislip? We will start. Are you going to do the report, Jeff, or just?
As best I can, otherwise.
Okay. So, Deputy CAO report, please.
No, go ahead.
Just on number 4, they talk about covering the door at the border arena after break-in. Was that a second break-in? Because I know they had a break-in a while back. Is that the one that was?
I haven't heard of it. There's nothing filed on that.
We'll confirm that for you.
Okay, Jeff.
No, I'm just going to take questions.
Oh, sorry. Any more questions on the CAO report? All right, we'll move on to Southwest. No, okay. Any more questions on the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission MD planning report? Seeing?
Yeah, I got one.
Sure.
Just that I see that for the sake of probably Earl and Brian or Councillor Cornish here, I think they're getting a little wonky with their reporting again, getting really small and spread out over a bunch of pages. So just remind them to go and see if they can clean that up a little bit. It's hard to read. I was trying to read it the other day.
Yeah, it's an ongoing struggle for the assistant clerk, trying to take the amount of data that they want to provide you and get it into a format that's more readable. So it's an ongoing work in progress. We'll try some more to see if we can't clean that up for you.
Okay, no further questions. Community service report. Any questions on that? Okay. So that include the events department, aquatics department.
Just give me a second.
And, okay. No hurry. So where do you want me to stay?
I'm trying to be modern and make my notes on here instead of. Oh, just a question on the lighting. It says receive quotes to replace high bay lighting in the arena. So that's the arena, that's the old border arena, or is that in here? And it says will not be able to get it in this year's budget. We'll revisit in 2025.
That is for you.
It's for here? Okay, so is it just, they didn't have the work done to get the numbers on it, or we just figured we couldn't fit it into the budget cost-wise?
It wasn't requested as part of the budget conversations I had with the department, so it might have come in either after or they just didn't present it to me. Okay. That being said, I will follow up with the department and see what's going on. We may, if it's a matter that needs to be addressed in the near future, we can look at reprioritizing some other things if we have to. So I'll have a conversation with the team on that one.
On the 5 things, it says, of course, the HVAC, that's been on its way out there for a long time. So are we looking at having to do something with that probably this year or next year? Or?
Mr. McShane it stays on top of it pretty well. He hasn't specifically mentioned a full replacement. This is more preventative maintenance and getting the service agreement in place. So I think we did a pretty good upgrade on that a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly. So I think we're, as far as the newness of the equipment, I don't think is necessarily the problem. It's just making sure it's constantly working. We do know we have, that building is difficult to heat. Mainly the windows are the bigger problem. We know we've discussed that before. And so it's extra important to keep that system working as optimum as we can to offset some of the other deficiencies we have right now.
Thank you very much.
And my question is about the fitness center. Everything's up and running now? I see that those new treadmills, says they were ordered and delivered January 23rd. I just wondered if we had an update on timeline. I haven't been up there, so.
No, I haven't been up there myself, actually. I have one in my home, but we'll confirm. I think that they got up and running, but we got a bunch of nods that were more knowledgeable than I, so.
No, I run it on mine at home. Okay. Which, believe me, you have to pay attention. I got no handles, just a floor one. Anyway, sorry. Next up, Assistant Treasurer Report. Mr. Godsoe.
Okay, I think that we've gone through this quite a bit of detail. I will make, my tablet just went to sleep. I will make some overall comments, I guess. On the statements, you'll notice that there is a deficit showing for current for the utility fund. Bills are actually out now, or I think she mailed them the last few days, so that will be to the end of December, so there'll be a change there for December. Just overall, I think that we've been very busy, and we do take our responsibilities seriously as to what needs to be done with regards to the 2023 audit and the 2024. I want to actually thank the work that M&P and Teed Saunders are doing. It's mentioned here this evening that the audit hasn't started, but it has. The audit's been ongoing now for since before Christmas. The statements have been drafted, and they're going through various back and forth with between them, M&P and Teed Saunders with regards to changes that need to be made. Information that's required in order for the auditors to do their work has been gathered and presented to the auditors basically within a day or two of them making a request. And at the same time, we're working on a number of things, as Jeff had mentioned, the Questica, the budget software, meetings with that, working on the account structure. Nikki Mott and I, along with Celeste and Jeff, spent a good part of the day actually looking at code structures and how we can redevelop that. So there are a number, and we're also talking about, of course, the payroll, and as well as looking at in the future what can we do with in the receivables to try to streamline that, and as well as with the payables. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see until it actually gets brought up here and voted on by council. But we do take our responsibilities very seriously, and we are working to try to improve this moving forward. And I think the code structure change is a good step to making that happen.
Thank you, Frank. Yeah, sorry, I didn't ask. Any questions?
Just a comment, really. I just want to thank you too, Frank, for being willing to try to, maintain everything and keep the ship afloat while learning new software. And I think that we've done a really good job at internally managing our own change management system. I mean, any organization that goes through change, it's extremely challenging, and most staff tend to kind of step back and say, I'm not at a place in my career where I'm willing to take on change. But the fact that you and Jeff have worked so collaboratively together and taken on this change and still managed to take care of the day-to-day business while implementing all of these changes. I mean, I'm just reading the report and I would feel overwhelmed with all of these new processes happening in my day-to-day work. While still trying to do my day-to-day work and, putting old school and new school together. So I really appreciate it. I think we would be in a huge pinch if you didn't step up and if Jeff didn't step up, and I just want to thank you both. And we're very blessed to have staff that are willing to take on increased responsibility at a time when we can't afford to bring in a brand new person to go through an even more challenging transition. The only thing harder than introducing brand new software and technology is also introducing brand new staff in the mix of that. So I just really appreciate it. I want to put that out there publicly and let you know that. Thank you.
Yeah, just one comment just for a second, Brian. We did put a budget line just to help the Treasurer's Department too as well for any additions you need or outside help in this year's budget. Sorry, Brian, or Council Cornus.
It's okay, Brian's good. It's okay if I ask the questions of the CAO? I missed it here when you jumped over and I didn't get a chance. Okay. Basically, I was going to the take these off again before I can see you. Was going to go to the assistant CAO, our fire chief. I talked to him yesterday about boundary lines from the St. Stephen Fire Station versus boundary lines, routes, what do you call them, from the Western Charlotte. People have been after me again, and I think what spurred it is basically the reassessment. Assessments go up, fear of house value going up, fear of insurance going up from the distance a cart has to go either from St. Stephen or from Western Charlotte. I see you're shaking your head, so I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm requesting that we take, and I talked to Sean yesterday, and he says it's on his desk, he's trying to get at it. But this is our third time I'm getting called, I suppose, because of the matters that's going on. I'd like to see something done. Hopefully, let's give it 2 months that we look at it through the, I guess it has to go through the provincial fire department on the 911 calls where it goes. But right now, it looks like the Mayfield, the Heathland, Little Ridge areas, fair amount of population is getting hit higher for insurance because of the distance away. Because when 911 goes in, it comes here, I guess, and then goes to Western Charlotte, which is 17 minutes from the fire hall to the end of the Mayfield Road, and then it's more if I have to. I believe it goes up, probably up your way into Heathland. And I don't know about Route 3. Do we, the fire department here, handle Route 3, or does that come from Western Charlotte? So that's St. Stephen.
Depends on the nature of the call, yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's it. I just wanted to request that within the next 60 days that we get something done with that, because we've been shuffling it now for a couple of years.
You got a comment? Go ahead.
Thank you, Councillor, for the question. Mr. Morton, he called me from Predator, actually, knowing that this might come up. So we had did get a briefing on it. Current status of the our proposal for the district reshuffle is we have a proposal ready that Sean and his team have worked on. The next step in this is that we need to have a joint meeting between the affected agencies. So we have to have Mr. McCabe from our friends of the Rural District, and as well as St. Andrews, Eastern Charlotte, all sit down and look at the proposal, discuss pros, cons, tweak it, whatever we need to do, to prep it as hopefully a unified proposal to the Fire Marshal's office. That's where the power is going to come. If one of us goes alone and everybody else is mad because of the boundary shift, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's our plan of attack right now, is to reach out to our colleagues, figure out when we can get schedules to line up enough that the right players can all come to sit in one room with a big map and draw on it and scribble on it and come to something we can all agree to. So I know Sean has put it on his personal agenda that his goal is that the boundary matter be concluded within this calendar year. So certainly, it's with your commentary, it's boiled back up to probably off a few sheets of paper off his desk, and we're gonna put out the call for a joint meeting as soon as we can. So it is actively working on getting ready to take the next step.
Thank you, sir. That's what I wanted to hear. Just wanted to make sure that people in the audience and out in TV land understand that it's still alive. Not well, but going to be looked after hopefully this year.
Thank you. Councillor Heislip?
This is back to the Treasury. Nothing rough here, but so 2017, 7 years ago, you were here. We have a audit every year, which is legislated to be performed on our finances. And I don't recall in my 8 years or so, or 9 years here, that they always give us a rating or a ratio that we debt ratio, and we've always been right on or exceed and under that. Or I was going to say exceed, but it's really under, but exceed the expectations, I guess. So it's always been every year. I can't recall, and I don't think I can't recall a time that we've ever been even anything.
20%, we're well below what the maximum. We're well below the maximum that they would allow us to be. So
I think looking at our last budget and the amount of people that we lost from Finance Department and the possibility of losing more people in Finance Department in the near future, the costs that we're saving by buying software to fill those gaps, because you still got to do the work, but you're doing it with less people. So you work smarter, not harder, right? I mean, you don't want to burn yourself out too. And that's one of the questions we always asked all our employees, whether it's the deputy CAO, Sean, can you take on these things? And and we asked the CAO, can you take on these things? Because we are concerned about burnout. We don't want to lose people halfway through the year or in the middle of an audit or anything else. So we've also asked that of you, because we don't want to put you out there either. I mean, we need people to be in the office and doing their work, and they do it well. So, I mean, when we talk about software and getting outside help, because there's been a lot of years we haven't been on time. And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to catch up to that curve and then exceed that curve and probably stay on it. So I think we are physically responsible when we're spending some of this money for outside help, and look at the salaries that we've reduced. If Mr. Morton decided to only take on fire department, we have to hire 3 more employees at probably $80,000 plus benefits each year. So we're saving a possibility of $240,000 for one salary. I see comments and I just look at it and go, well, what do you want to do? We'll hire on 6 more people and we'll put $500,000 more in the budget, and the taxpayers have to pay for it. So, I mean, I don't really understand it, and I'm trying to understand it, but I don't get the point. So, but anyway, I don't think the question is probably more of a comment, but I don't think we've ever exceeded that debt ratio. So I think we've been pretty well on point.
Kudos, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just cut you off, but yeah, you're right. It's not all about cutting people too. It's all about balance, and we got to find that balance and get through this. We'll get there. Any more in the Assistant Treasurer report? Councilor Wright.
I just want to make a comment that when we've made this investment both last year and in this budget to revitalize and refresh and redo things, we're fixing things that may not have been optimized up till now. And sometimes you got to spend a little money to make that optimization base get in place. And then the spending drops off and it levels out and you're more efficient, you're more lean. It's just a matter of spending the money we need to get the foundation we want. And I'm glad we're doing it.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Future St. Stephen. Jenny.
Back again. Not for long. So we are in the midst of our hiring. We've been working with a firm with Sherry and her team, and they've done a great job. We've received lots of great applications, so we're moving into the next stage of a short list. We have our hiring committee set, so we hope within the next few weeks to have good news on that front, to have someone that has a great background. We do have some applicants with really great backgrounds, which is great to see. So in the midst of that, what we've also been doing on a board is building out kind of our strategic points, that we're really seeing. If you remember, when Future St. Stephen came to life again in 2016, there was a bit of a 10-year path that was laid out, 10-year plan, and has been kind of updated each year. Well, we're kind of at the end of that 10 years, and COVID kind of threw a wrench in some of those plans. So it kind of, when you look at it, probably delayed some things. So that's what we're doing. And the other thing that we're doing is working really close with partners. I think it's great. On our board, we have representatives from Town Council, we have representatives from the Chamber, from downtown St. Stephen. The RSC has been working with us as well. We're going to be meeting with them to make sure everything aligns. And that's really our goal going forward, is aligning with everybody else, but also looking for the areas that potentially aren't being covered that need to be, right, for local economic development, to make sure that we're not missing out on those opportunities. So that's the main focus right now that we're working on, and hiring that role and getting them up and going as quick as possible.
Yes, you can. Deputy Mayor?
Okay. Well, thank you for all the work that you're doing, and it's really exciting, I think, for the future. When I was looking through the program, I noticed that there's welcome program and there's no submission. But just recently, I had somebody approach me, and they were looking for welcome programs in St. Stephen. So I'm just wondering if you could have a little bit of information on that, where they would go.
Yeah, so we started the Welcome Program, what really, Kendall started investigating it because when COVID happened, we had a lot of people join the community and a lot of people who didn't know where to go for resources. So it started with a group of volunteers who are kind of the community ambassadors. It's a program that's actually happened many times in the community. Heather Cunningham will tell you all the times that it's happened or been brought to life. And I believe it was probably her that brought it up in a meeting as something we should take a look at. And then Kendall ran with it. It was really successful during COVID and just after because we had so many people coming to the community. So ambassadors for the community would basically give a call and say, hey, can I give you some information? What can I help you with? We did some materials at that time. We've seen it obviously drop off in the last, probably it's really dropped off in the last year. We're not having as much interest. It is just a website form that we have. The Regional Service Commission is also exploring potentially a similar welcome program, but on a regional basis. So we've provided those materials as well. But if there's people that are new to the community, we have a guide that just kind of has general community information that we're happy to share as well.
Thank you very much.
Just a second. Councillor Harding.
Thank you. One more time, I'm going to ask you, is there anything new in the hotel? Because let me tell you something. When I come down the street on a Saturday to go to Pizza Delight or whatever, the parking lot is always full, thank God, over here, or here, and it's just a waste. It's a waste of space that we don't have a hotel. So the question I asked you, when you're interviewing these people, can you find somebody who's gung-ho in bringing a hotel here? I think that should be on your agenda.
I will put that on our question list. I will say, it's still a file that we're working on quite a lot and working with, you see both Al and Jeff nodding. It's something that we're working on. It's not something that we can, provide kind of updates here, but it is something that's been actively working on. We're pursuing everything we can to make that happen.
Okay, thank you. I'll look forward to seeing who you hire and seeing if the person is a hotel person. Thank you.
Councillor Rodas. Yeah,
My question is, I notice with the RSC, they have their own economic development section. So I recently noticed they were sharing some information about local jobs in Charlotte County, like a massive job bank, which I was really impressed with, actually. I wonder if in your conversations with the RSC, have we found that fine line between what is the responsibility of kind of Future St. Stephen and the RSC and just making sure that there's, partnership but no overlap? Because I did wonder that. I'm not quite 100% sure what they are pursuing or tackling as like their key strategies to focus on. So, okay.
Yeah, so we're meeting with Charlene, and that's part of it. Is obviously economic development is something new for the RSC that's been added to their portfolio. We attend their quarterly meetings. We share a lot of information back and forth, and it is probably just finding that line. A lot of times they're going to have resources that then we can take and use for our benefit, or maybe suggest a program that would be benefit regionally that we would like to see. They have access obviously to funding as well, but that's part of a big drive at the start of this year is making sure we don't have those overlaps. Even when it comes to the work that the CAO does as well, making sure that there's not it's not being duplicated somewhere else, just to make sure that we're all working kind of in the same path, but we're not doing all the same work at the same time. Yeah.
Councillor Greenlaw.
Yeah, in the first section there, you noted that you'll be meeting with many partners, and you said that you'd be meeting with council to make sure that you got alignment on the priorities. So is there something specific going to be scheduled that council is going to be included in?
Yeah, we discussed it, and what we decided was instead of meeting right now, when we don't have the president hired, we wanted to defer that meeting until that role was filled, to have that person in the room to meet with council at the same time, instead of having to bring that person back into it. Yeah.
And just a quick follow-up, with regards to the new president, do you have like an onboarding and orientation plan and stuff done so they can hit the ground running?
Yeah, so we actually did, we've done the onboarding a couple times. What we've done before is, has worked well, is made sure that they meet with every board member to kind of get a sense of their role and kind of feedback, but also all of our documents are digitized. So that was an activity that we did during COVID. So I've spent some time and with help with others, and we've been kind of building it into a bit of a site so it's easier to go through. But pretty much everything for the president's role, if you need a question, you can search and you can find the materials related to it. Yeah.
Councillor Eastman.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a suggestion here. I've moved around the country quite a bit, and my welcome package always came from the real estate agent. So if there's some coordination between the real estate agents and a welcome package would be great.
Yeah, we actually did coordinate during COVID. So they were aware of the program. They provided feedback, and they did connect a lot of folks that were moving to the community. What we've noticed is that we're not seeing as many people moving, let's say, from afar. It's maybe more local moves or moves within the province. And obviously, one side of that, and something that's high still on our priority, is housing. Is making sure we have the housing here to attract. We'll probably see, that welcome package, maybe interest go up, and also making sure that that welcome side is obviously we see it as value because of what it keeps people in the community for economic development, but making sure we have the resources to support it as well is always important. But yeah, the realtors were a big part of that because obviously they knew as soon as everyone moved here.
Okay, good point, good comment. All right, we will move on to, okay, so I had a mover, I had a seconder for the departmental reports. Can I have there's no more questions? All those in favor of accepting all the departmental reports? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, next up, bylaws, second reading. A bylaw number 0323-1, a bylaw to amend bylaw 03-23. Can I have a mover and seconder for a bylaw respecting the remuneration of council for the Municipal District of St. Stephen? Councillor Harding? Councillor Rodas? The proposed resolution, bylaw 0323-1, a bylaw to amend bylaw 03-23, a bylaw respecting the remuneration of council for the Municipal District of St. Stephen, be given a second reading as amended. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. Next up is request for new business, request for decisions, St. Croix Library Board. I'll take a mover and seconder that council appoints Linda Duplessis to the St. Stephen Library Board for a 3-year term. Councillor Corners, Councillor Eastman. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried, and thank you so much, Linda, for taking on that role for our community and the library. Thank you. Motion carried. All right. Okay, the next one is, I need a mover and second. Do I got to read all that? Oh, Brian. I should make Brian read it. I'm just joking. Yeah. All right. I'll take a mover and seconder for the concerns about potential pollution of the St. Croix River. Councillor Greenlaw, Councillor Rodas. Whereas the St. Croix River is a vital part of the quality of life for residents in the Municipal District of St. Stephen through its provisions of recreational and employment opportunities. And whereas members of the the Municipal Council have been provided significant anecdotal evidence of potential pollution to the St. Croix River. And whereas the Council of the Municipal District of St. Stephen, pursuant to Section 5 of the Local Governments Act, has an established purpose to foster the economic, social, and environmental well-being of its community. And whereas the Council has the concerns that there may be conditions, natural or man-made, which are having a negative impact upon environmental well-being of the St. Croix River. Now, therefore, the Council for the Municipal District of St. Stephen does hereby request that the Minister of Environment and Climate Change initiate, I just thought there's a word missing. I knew the initiate, but it seemed like there's a word missing. Initiate an investigation into the environmental conditions of the St. Croix River with specific attention to the causes of the non-desirable conditions being experienced in our region, and that the results of such investigation be publicly presented to the Council of the Municipal District of St. Stephen. Canadian Center for Safer, stop. Oh my goodness. All right. That's it. That's a problem. Anyways, so I had a mover, I had a seconder. Any questions? Councillor Harding.
I've just got a comment. I've had, in the last week, a few comments about your presentation, Councillor Cornish, and it seems to me that people are very interested in what is going on the river and what's in the river. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that this is a really good deal, and thank you, Jeff.
Councillor Cornish.
Thank you, Mark, for that. Since we're sort of co-presented that, I've also had emails and calls that they are glad that the council is taking on this, because people are starting to smell the smell, see the brown stuff and all that. And they said that's a very good move on behalf of our town to make it safe.
Yeah, I'm just going to make a comment as well. And I do want to thank Councillor Cornish for bringing this to our attention and pushing this along, because this is one of those things that no one really likes to talk about, because it affects so many people, and it good and bad. But we got to do what's right, and let's find out and have them look into it and get back to us. So, thank you, Councillor Cornish. And we need to vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, now see. Canadian Center for Safer Communities Survey Analysis quote. I'll take a mover and seconder that council authorizes the expenditure of $4,000 plus applicable taxes to contract the Canadian Center for Safer Communities to conduct a community safety survey, being one of the key deliverables identified in the 2025 municipal plan. Councillor Greenlaw, Councillor Heislip, any questions? Councillor Rodas?
So when this survey goes out, they give a comprehensive report of the findings, but do they actually come present? Is that a possibility?
I believe they present online. Online? Yeah, it would be a Zoom thing, yeah.
So we could share that link with the community?
Well, they're going to be here.
Oh, here,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Or sorry, I didn't have the mic on. Someone in that room is going to get mad at me for not putting the mic on. Yes, it will be presented in council and to the public. And thank you, Councillor Greenlaw, for bringing this forward. Any more questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh, are you opposing it?
No. I just wanted to make a quick statement, if possible, on this.
Okay, I kind of moved a little
It's all good.
Okay, well, I'm going to set the vote. I'll say motion carried. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's very important that when this survey actually goes out, that we get as many people as possible to fill it out. The survey takes about 20 minutes. It's detailed, but the results from it will help the community with the right actions to try to make things better here. So we need to get as many different NGOs and local community groups and multicultural associations and as many groups as possible, the high school. So when this goes out, I urge everybody to make sure that you take the time to fill it out. The more that fill it out, the more accurate the information will be. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, what's this here, the council grant program recommendations, nothing with it. We're not doing anything with that tonight.
That's been moved to a special
Yeah,
next week.
so this is the one we removed, that's right, it's not, it looked odd sitting there. Okay. Correspondence from Ward 1 resident. Is everyone, okay, I need a mover and seconder to accept the correspondence from the Ward 1 resident. Deputy Mayor Wheaton, Council Wright. Is there any questions or comments on the correspondence? Okay. I mean, I'll kind of, I'm not going to read the whole letter, but what it is the citizens is concerned with cats. And you know, how we do regulate dogs running on the loose, but we don't with cats. So their concern is cats in the area, rurally and urban, both. So they're requesting that we look into that. So we'll take that correspondence and discuss it in council and see how much further, what we can do with cats. Cats been running around my whole life, so that's anyway. So anyway, that's what the correspondence is about, and it's in the package if anyone would like to read the letter. Okay. Any? I had a mover and a seconder. Is any more questions? All those in favor? Setting those correspondence.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, I'll take a mover and seconder to accept the council reports be acknowledged and received. Council Harding, Council Eastman. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And I'll take a mover and seconder that pursuant to Section 68, Bracket 1, the Local Governments Act, council moved to a closed session for the purpose of discussing one personal matter. Councilor Greenlaw. Second. Councilor Cornish. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.